welcome back, everybody. This is your Unlaced Podcast, episode 4. We have made it to episode 4. I am your host, Joshua, and today we have a special guest, my good brother, my dear friend, a owner in his own right, a man of many talents, aware of many hats. I can't speak highly enough about this person. We have Deighton.
What's going on, bro? Thank you guys for having me. Appreciate the introduction. Thank you.
You know it. How was your day today? Let's start there. How was your day today? I haven't seen you all day.
My day was all right. Just your typical Thursday. Wake up a grown man, work as a grown man, come home as a grown man, and you get hit up by the homies to do some side quests. Today was really good.
I appreciate you coming out. It is late. It is Thursday. We are recording at 7. Shout out to Zep Tepe Studios, Ryan and Sebastian over here. So we're going to jump right in. I want to start, I guess we'll start your early life. You're originally from Brooklyn. So I want to start in kind of like your childhood era. Like how did you get accustomed to like sneakers? And I know that could be like just a typical question, but I mean it in a sense of like, what can you, I guess, go back in your memory bank and pull out like where you really became fascinated with shoe culture?
Yeah, so to be honest with you, I didn't become fascinated in shoe culture until my maybe eighth grade year of middle school.
Oh, so it wasn't until like
honestly, to be honest with you, I'll probably say like if we talking about like sneaker culture, probably wasn't until like 10th, 11th grade.
Okay, so before then, what were your passions?
Whatever my mom bought me.
No. I don't even mean like clothes wise. I'm just like because we know you're passionate now about fashion, about culture, about sneakers. Right. You know what I mean? Okay, so like, cool. What were your passions before that became your passion?
To be honest with you, I really didn't have any passions. I was just middle school kid, and it was just the simple things, you know what I mean? The things that I was able to get time from: video games, outside, friends, basketball, repeat, you know what I mean? School, homework, back to video games, friends, basketball, as much as I could.
So it was so basketball was like a big part of your life then back then. Before it was
basketball plays huge thing. Okay. I ain't gonna lie, all through middle school I sucked. It's garbage, straight up garbage, bro. I swear. But I loved the game so much.
That's why we
loved the game so much. I used to play with my uncle a lot, so that was where I got the roughness from.
Okay. And you played like school, like for your school team?
No, I did not.
So this was just all recreational, like you just a love of the game type thing?
Yeah. It was all recreational. When I moved out here, I was so used to just playing in the parks. So when I moved out here and I started at Freedom, I remember they asked me to play for Freedom, but I didn't go to the tryouts because one, you know what I mean, just moved up here, to PA from Brooklyn, and it's just a whole new scenery. There was a lot of things that Freedom had that my school never even thought to offer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just as much as a lunch coat, like I didn't have a lunch coat. So I was trying to figure that out. I'm in the cafeteria looking at, the papers that they give you and stuff. So, it's a lot of things you get used to, pep rallies and stuff like that. Like, I went to school on Kings Highway, you know what I'm saying, Tilden Avenue. We didn't have no pep rallies, you know what I'm saying? There was really none of that. So, just trying to get used to it, and I just didn't know how to play under the whistle. I was honestly scared.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I didn't want to come in and in a late year start playing for this team. Now you're the new kid, you're playing for this team, and you're dragging the team, you know what I mean? I just didn't want to be that dude. Like I said, like I was just fresh out here, so it really wasn't something that I was like interested in. But then over time, you know what I mean, after high school, started playing more like in leagues and stuff like that. So came along.
All right, so it seems like it was like the structure kind of thing that you wasn't into that. It was just like you played just to be free and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was just to just have the fun at the moment.
So where does the, I guess, the passion for sneakers and clothes, designing, where does this fit into all of this? Like, I know you said later down the line, so it was maybe middle school. Like, what did you see? What was going on around you? How did it influence your everyday like life?
So part of that, part of that really had to do, small part of it had to do with my father. My father was really into fashion. I wouldn't say like, like into fashion, like, how I am now, how I could talk about, people and things like that. He definitely wasn't that. Like, my father's from the Caribbean. But as any other New Yorker, at that time, if you lived in New York, it was, True Religion jeans, it was antique jeans, it was Ed Hardy, Black Label, polo, 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 polo. You know what I mean? It was Timberlands, it was Air Max 95s. Like, that was just New York at the time. So, my pops, I didn't live with him. He didn't live with us, but every time I went to go see him and everything like that, he always had like that stuff on. So I used to just always get a glimpse, and I used to like it a lot. So, I guess that's just where, like, I guess the spark started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, later down the line, still during middle school, I still say I was into it, but at the time it was just like, I could only get what I afford. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
right.
There were, I had highs and lows when it came to like my little fashion thing. Like, Hollister was a huge thing, Aeropostale, American Eagle. So, until I was able to get my first summer job, that's when I could have got like that stuff, But, my mom, she still did the best she could to keep me decked out. It's just,
Sure.
compared to whatever the hottest things were. Like, I didn't have the hottest things. I dressed nice, but didn't have, the hottest things.
So then you make a transition. You move to Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
How does that move?
So funny story. I actually lived in Pennsylvania prior to moving, but
really?
I was much, much younger.
Okay.
So it wasn't like,
really
right. Like, it wasn't like I experienced, like, we had moved to PA and then we moved back to New York, and then, I started, grow up a little bit more there, started to, be able to focus on the world and realize what was happening. You know what I mean? So, but then, later on the line, it was just, my mom, she's really close to her mother and, their family. So, everybody just started picking up and moving to PA. You know what I mean? Like, my mom already had been there first, you know what I mean? Because we lived out here. But then, my grandmother, her family, they picked up and moved. And that's my mom's mother. So, my mom, she just wanted to be closer to family. You know what I mean? So we moved back out here. And just so happened to be when, my going on 10th, 11th grade year of high school. So that's how that just worked out. I just landed out here.
And in your mind space around that, like, were you for it, against it? Did you want to go?
I was definitely against it. I was definitely against it because at that time it's just like, you're leaving your friend, you know what I mean? Like, and also too, like, it was still fresh in high school.
I was about to say, that's a tough time.
Yeah. Not to mention, I'm moving out into this state where I don't really know anybody. I got no friends. And not only that, it's not like I could start at the beginning of the school year with everybody else. Like, I'm just getting tossed right in at a real busy time of the school year. This is like October, you know what I mean, going into November. That's when they got like all the, choose this and choose that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. League just started, sports just started. So it was just, it was one of those weird times where I just had to self-adjust. Not only that, my brother, he wasn't in high school yet. So it was literally just me. Like, I ain't have like no support because no matter what, like, when me and my brother started going to Freedom together, when he was able to go, still your support. You know what I mean? I see him in the halls and we may bump fists like we friends, but still my support. You know what I'm saying? So It was just like that at that time. You know what I mean? It was just all new.
Okay, so you get to Pennsylvania, you're going to school. What are you wearing at this time? Like, how is that? I'm guessing I kind of want to see, where does the idea of doing something for yourself in fashion and like where are the seeds being planted? Like, what's that initial thought of like, oh, I'm gonna start dressing a certain way, I'm gonna go actually sort out these pieces because that's what I'm into now? Where does that start?
So that starts like 8th to 9th grade, like freshman year of high school. Definitely was freshman year of high school. I started wearing a lot more different things. So, still at that time, you still had everything that was still popping that I named before, but then you also had, people were shopping everywhere. It wasn't just like, whatever was hot, people gravitate. People were shopping everywhere. Like H&M was popping.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I still shop at H&M.
That's what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying? Like these are places that people were really like buying stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, you still had that crowd where that's the crowd that I wasn't introduced to. Like that side of the culture that was wearing like Billionaire Boys Club, Ice Cream, Supreme, because those were still stores. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just only few people really, knew about going up there. Not to mention at my school, a lot of people really didn't wear that. Everybody was wearing Hollister, Aeropostale, True Religion.
This is in Pennsylvania.
No, this is in New York.
In New York?
Yeah. This is in New York. Everybody's still wearing, Adidas sweats and Ugg boots. It was just like, It was
nasty time.
It was that era. You know what I'm saying? So, at that time, you know what I mean? It was at that time for me. It was whatever I can get, like whatever I was able to get my hands on, like, and it was just ups and downs. It was just trying to figure out. Like there were times where I had, I would go, I lived in East New York at one point, and, I used to go home all the time, and there was this one store that sold like Montclairs and, all that type of craziness. But, at the end of the day, maybe it was fake, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it ended up being fake, but it just didn't matter to me. I mean, now that I know today, like obviously it was fake, you know what I'm saying? Because of the pricing, it was just no way, you know what I'm saying? But I remember, seeing the Montclair on the wall with the patches, and then I saw a few people had it in the school. I didn't even know if theirs was real or not. I just know like, yo, like that jacket is tough, all them patches, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit is dope, you know what I mean? So, I remember just going and asking the guy when I got off the bus, like, hey, look, how much is the Montclair? He's like, it's just so, and I'm saving every dollar here and there just to buy a fake Montclair, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just, you know what I'm saying? It was
time back then.
I was at that point, you know what I'm saying? And I think what made me even more hungry was the fact that I just couldn't afford it in general, you know what I'm saying? Like my mom, like I said, she always kept me dipped. We always went to we always went to like stores that still sold fly shit, you know what I'm saying? We went to Jimmy Jazz, Hyperactive, S&D on Graham Avenue. I mean, VIMs, I was shopping, you know what I mean? So we still went to fire stuff. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So she still kept me, dipped out in the nicest clothes. It's just that the stuff that I wanted was that high level stuff, you know what I'm saying? Right. And who knows why, you know what I mean? But at that time, when you seeing something like that for the first time, of course, anybody's gonna want to see what it's like to own a quote unquote $1,000 jacket, you know what I'm saying? Just to have it so people could fuck with you, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, at the end of the day, I just want to say at the end of that statement is that was still young me. So that was kind of the gist of trying to see, you know what I'm saying? But then there were times where I could get actual stuff. Like for example, with my father, I was able to get polo, and sometimes he wouldn't be too stingy, you know what I mean? He would let me, wear some stuff to school. So, you know what I mean? So it was cool, but I was literally floating around in the mixture of trying to save to get fake stuff here and wearing real stuff here. You know what I'm saying? It was just whatever, I just wanted to be, I feel like I just wanted to be like everybody else at that point, honestly.
I want to stay on that because you have a deeper appreciation for polo than most people. Sure. And I want to know exactly where that comes from. Does that come from your father too?
No, that does not come from my father. That's just being born and raised in New York. Okay. It's just...
But even a little more, like, okay, I'll give you that because there is like low life culture. And, like, I know that New York deeply resonates with Ralph Lauren as a brand, but there's a deeper, I think, like people don't understand.
It goes, oh my God, it goes, you know what I mean? It goes so much. But living at that time in New York, like when you talk about polo, it wasn't like how I could talk about polo now. It was. Who had the biggest horses, you know what I'm saying? If you can get one that go across the whole chest, cool. You got one that got the horses with the stripe, cool. You rocking rugby, cool. Rugby, like, you know what I mean? It was just like, it was, wintertime, you get the rugby jacket, had the kicker here, number here. It was the same jacket, you know what I mean? Like, it was those pieces, you know what I'm saying? It was, it was just the style. It was just dope, you know what I'm saying? It was kids, like, and the crazy effect is like, now that I think about it today, is like this man had effect on these middle school kids. You know what I'm saying? Whether they was wearing real polo or not, like they knew they could look at it and just know. You know what I'm saying? It was just like that. You know what I mean? And then as the years went along, and my love for fashion and my knowledge of fashion and everything that just came with it came along. It's just now I'm at the point where it's just like I could talk about that, man. I'm like, yo, like people won't say it, but you gotta respect that.
You
have to. As one of the founding fathers of you name it, because he done it all: streetwear, dress wear, menswear, paint, furniture. like just respect him. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta respect him. You know. So I just feel like that's where the love for polo came about for sure. Definitely born and raised in New York, though.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's switch topics. Right now, I want to go into retail. How I met you was you working at a retail store. I'll let you get into that because I do want to know like where you started, like what was like maybe your first job and why maybe it was towards retail. Yeah. So I guess what was your first job?
My first job was
your first
counselor.
Camp counselor?
Camp counselor at a Jewish camp in New York, bro. I never forget. Signed up for the summer program, and my mom made me take the train. She said, "Go sign up for a summer program. You older to work now."
Sick.
I remember I got a job at a Jewish camp as a camp counselor, and I got fired. I got fired like the last. Yeah, I got.
That's not. Don't tell us.
Yeah, bro. I was just saying, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It's really simple. We were playing Red Butt. We were playing with the kids. The kids said they knew, they wanted to play so bad. You know what I mean?
You were playing what?
Side. So it's a game in New York. We call it side. Where you throw the ball, handball, and then somebody drops. They got and I remember there was this. There was just one kid, poor kid. He was the only one left, and he was just like this. He had his shirt off because it was so hot. Pegged him. He had like a big red like.
We don't promote
violence. Bro. No, I don't promote.
We don't promote.
This was my first job, people. This was my first. I was 16. Like, come on.
Like, cut this out.
Nah, I was only 16, bro. You know what I'm saying? But that was my very first job. Yeah. That was my very first job.
Oh my goodness. All right. So retail. What was your first retail job?
My first retail job was the job that I always wanted in middle school, high school. It was at Foot Locker. That was my first. That was my first official retail job. Shout out to Deighton. That dude means a lot to me.
Where was that at?
South Mall.
South Mall?
Yeah, South Mall on Lehigh Street.
Oh, okay.
All the way, quiet little mall. And, Foot Locker was just one of the stores.
In Allentown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Foot Locker. How long did you hold that?
I was with Foot Locker for 4 years. Just about 4 years.
And what made you leave that job? Like what was the next endeavor after that? I guessing.
What made me leave there was I think it was just an unappreciation. I ain't gonna hold you.
Because that's a dream. Yeah, you explained it as a dream job.
Yeah.
Leave that
because I just always wanted shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to.
No. I mean, I said, what would make you leave?
Oh, yeah. Honestly,
we know why.
Oh, yeah. But it was honestly because it was just at that moment. It was one of those things that life had thrown at me at the moment, and I remember getting transferred. It was time to put my big boy pants on. I didn't have no car. I was working at the Lehigh Mall, and I just remember district manager coming in and telling me like, "Yo, I hear you're ready to move up," and I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Can you make it to Easton?" I was like, "I don't have no car." He was like, "Well, it's time to get a car if you want to be an AM in Easton or a full timer." So I was like, all right. So after that day after work, I went and got a car, you know what I'm saying? And that was my first car, and, I ended up working over there. But the problem was that you got paid on commission at that time. You were full time. So, Easton was really slow. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And as good as a salesman as I was, like I went from being full time making, $900 checks, $800 checks to, being full-time now with more responsibility, making like 500. And I was like, I can't, that's a huge pay cut. You know what I mean? So I just remember talking to my DM about it. And I remember he just told me the words. He said, when we feel we're ready to move you, we'll move you. And I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? So, and, it just ironically, the very next day it was, I was mad or whatever, went into work though. It was, just one of those, another slow day. And I remember this old Hebrew, like this old Jewish guy, he comes into the store and, I didn't think nothing of it. Simple customer service. Hello, how you doing today? And he's like, I'm fine. How are you? We exchanged. Say you need anything else, let me know. And then he picks up a Timberland boot. And he was like, can you tell me what you know about this boot? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, what you know about Timberlands? I was like, well, I'm from New York, so the Timberland plays a huge thing. It's a huge thing to me. You know what I mean? he was like, where is it? You from New York? I'm like, yeah. He was like, you from New York too? He was like, yeah, I'm from New York as well. It's like, all right, cool. Never got his name. We spent like maybe an hour and some change talking about this Timberland boot.
Wow.
Originators, rappers that wore it, early 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then the next day, this lady comes in and she's like, are you dating? I'm like, yeah, I'm dating. She was like, you ever heard of the company Jimmy Jazz? And I'm like, yeah, I've heard of the company Jimmy Jazz. She was like, well, Jimmy was in, he just bought the mall in Easton. And I was like, yeah, I just saw that in the paper. Yeah. And she was like, well, he said he spoke to you yesterday. And he wants you to come work next door at the Jimmy Jazz open. And I'm like, he spoke to me yesterday. I'm like, nah, there's no way. She was like, yeah, he's a little short Jewish man. And I'm like, what? You mean to tell me I had a conversation with Jimmy of Jimmy Jazz and didn't even know it? You know what I'm saying? Insane. It was the coolest thing I ever thought. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, we want to, have an interview and everything. And I was like, listen, right now I'm in a predicament where if you can pay me more, like I know my customer service is worth it. So I just need to know what you could do for me. And like, I won't mind. And gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. I need to make more money. So, you know what I mean? So I just went next door and opened that store, which was really cool. So
Jimmy J, with it from the opening too. You were with it from the opening.
Yeah. I was the starting assistant manager there before I helped set up and everything like that. It was really cool. It was really cool. It was a good experience, especially coming from Jimmy Jazz.
That's actually a really cool story.
Yeah, it was dope.
That's a cool story.
Met the man that didn't even know.
Okay, so we see the wheels turning. Like you're in the retail services, you're dealing with clothes, you're dealing with merchandising, you're dealing with how a store is set up, and how does that play into you wanting to do something for yourself, you wanting to own your own brand, or does that come much later in life?
That definitely came much later. Like at that particular time, like those years I was like working in Foot Locker, working in Jimmy Jazz, like those years I was just going crazy as much as I could. Like I was just like, buying Supreme here, getting Kith there, you know what I'm saying? And, it was just...
You're working to fund the habit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I was just buying like, so many, any chance I got, I was just buying clothes and, I was just going to different malls and outlets with Princess, you know what I mean? We was just going everywhere, you know what I mean? And just like, it was just all clothes for me. And then as years went on, the style just started getting better and better and better. And it's, it just started from when I didn't have that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like there were like, that's how I self-taught myself Photoshop. And I used to do like this little chat thing. I think it was called IMVU, right? And it was like a virtual, you make yourself virtual. Yeah. It was one of those. Like I'm a young kid, middle school, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking at, all these people, like all these cool things. And at the time, like, Chris Brown, Tiger was on the scene, the whole vintage and snap. So, my way of being able to afford those things was to afford it in that game. If I can afford it in that game, it made me felt like somebody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, you know what? I was in the shop, you have, all the creators make items, you know what I mean? They'll make realistic items and put it in the shop so you could buy. And I'm like, it's like, yo, I should do that because then I can make whatever I want. Whatever I can't afford, I'm going to make. And that's exactly what I did. I self-taught myself Photoshop with YouTube. Open that Photoshop up, man. And
wow.
It was crazy because I used to try to, when I became a creator, like, like the little credits for the game, you get money when people buy that stuff. Like you get the credits. So I remember having, so like, for example, like the credits.
Like the actual, like the game itself. Like
the virtual. Yeah. So when you make something for the shop, you know what I'm saying? You get revenue back, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, or you can just go ahead and buy it. But they had the cards in the store and asking my mom for $10 all the time, $20 all the time. You know what I'm saying? Once I started to learn how to do that.
It's like a robot.
Yeah, bro. It was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like I'm a middle school kid, you know what I mean? But then it just got to the point where I just started to take off. I was making everything I couldn't afford. Everything I couldn't afford. And it just so happened to be selling. The next thing you know, like, I don't even got to buy credits. I don't got to buy credits anymore. I don't got to beg my mom for nothing. I don't got, $10. I don't got to do nothing. And that's when I was, that's when it was just like, fast forward, you know what I mean? Stuff I couldn't afford. You know what I'm saying? Versace bracelet, I made it for a virtual game. But then years later, I'm at Versace buying, you know what I mean? Like buying a bracelet, you know what I'm saying? And who cares if it's Versace, but it's more so about the feeling, like how far I came. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was that.
It means something to you. It's like nostalgic in a way because like at one point it was it wasn't even obtainable to the
Right.
fact that you had to go create it yourself.
Right,
And then
exactly.
now it's within reach.
Right.
It's tangible, and it's a
Right.
night like I don't look at it as you trying to flex something because I know it's coming from a genuine place
Right,
and it actually means something to you.
right. It was literally this kid living in that virtual world as a somebody
Right.
to
Being
years later,
yes.
this kid done turned into a man
Yeah.
wearing exactly what he was wearing in that virtual world.
Yeah.
And it realistically, it means shit to nobody but me.
Got
Like
it.
that, I could tell myself and look in the mirror and just be like, yo, like that was you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You were looking at Tiger and Chris Brown with the snapbacks, and here you are, high school starter jackets, Tisa snapbacks, Nike Blazers.
So that was the musical influence.
Ask anybody that went to
That's what
Freedom.
I was trying to get to. I knew it came from somewhere. Like
yeah, but it was all over the
It came
place.
from somewhere.
It was all over the place. It was all over the place. It was just, it was either I'm in or I'm out. I'm in, I'm or out. But
So it was Chris Brown and Tiger.
yeah, yo.
Fan
So
of a
I was a huge fan of Chris Brown, Tiger, Big Sean. You know what I'm saying? Like that, and I think I was a huge fan of them. Like I don't get me wrong. I fuck with their music. You know what I'm saying? I fucked with their
Yeah.
music, but I think it was just their style. Like it was their style. I was like, yo, like around that time. You know what I mean? Like it was just it, bro. Like my favorite music video to this day is "Beautiful People" because
I don't remember that one.
Chris Brown, "Beautiful People."
Oh.
Super dope video.
My
You had
brother
everybody in
said
there.
that's
You had everybody in there. So many different styles. They were wearing ice cream, Billionaire Boys Club. Like that was it. Like I remember waking up when I was living in New York and the videos on the TV for the first time. I remember watching the video. I'm like, yo, I'm so into this video. Tiger's here, Big Sean's in it, Tisa snapbacks. Years later, I'm like, yo, as soon as I get the money, bro, it's over.
God.
And then that's when it started. 10th grade. Anybody that knew me, I was wearing.
Okay. All right. So, all right, we got him.
Yeah, and that was it. Sorry it took so
figured out
long,
where it
bro. I was
came
trying to figure out the questions.
Okay. All right. So, I guess because I want to get into. Let's go to second base. How did you get to second base? Where does
Okay,
it? Where
so second base just it started with I knew of Andy prior. So I used to shop at home base a lot when I first moved out here. So like as soon as I touched down, I started walking down 4th Street, just seeing, what was the quote unquote like threads or fashion spots in the area. So I saw Sneaker Villa, and across the street they told me about home base, and I remember going over to home base and I'm like, I like home base way more. Like it was just, you know what I mean? Like they had the hundreds, they had 10 deep. 10 deep, I really wanted to start buying, you know what I'm saying? So it was really dope. And I met Andy prior to working at second base, and it was at a point where I was going to move back to New York. And I was just, talking to my friend Joey at the time, you know what I mean? Me and Joey, we were really close, hanging out a lot. So I remember telling him like, yo, like, I want to go move back to the city. I want to kind of work for, try to see if I could work for KIF or ALD or, any of those spots that was like popping, because I felt like everybody's telling me like that's where you belong and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So when you hear it every day, it's just like, all right, damn, do I really belong there? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have like definitely like the armor that I have now. You know what I mean? So I remember right around that time I was trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? And I remember he hit me up and he was just like, yo, you wanna work at second base? How would you feel about that? And I was just like, I ain't gonna lie. If I get the job, bro, I'll stop looking, bro. Cause I like Andy, I like home base. I'm like, yo, like it would be super dope to work there. I would dead stay. Yeah. And I remember he sent me up with the interview and I went and, just killed the interview. You know what I mean? And it was cool because, like prior to at that time I'm working at Nike. You know what I mean? And yeah, just a lot of retail spots just wasn't working out for me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it was because of me, but just sometimes, those doors just close and it just leaves just another one that opens.
I went through a bunch of retail.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like that. I was managers at all of them, but just, I guess, when it's just time for you to move on to another spot, you know what I mean? Just move on to another spot. But yeah, ended up working there.
And the second base probably felt more like a home.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my God, we talking about coming from resale as an assistant manager? Oh my God, it was relaxed, and I even took a pay cut just to be there, but it wasn't even really about the pay. It was more so about the experience, being a part of a team, being a part of a team owned by a guy like Andy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jesse, Josh, Joe, it was all having my friend Joey there who I was hanging out with a lot, you know what I'm saying? It was such a vibe, and it was something that I knew I wanted to do, and it didn't have to be in New York, you know what I mean? I got that feeling there, which was really, really great, and I learned so much from everybody there. Yeah, for sure. Shout out Andy, shout out everybody.
So is that where the seed started to turn for you to make your own brand?
So I'm not going to go too far back, but at one point in time, like when I started hanging out with Joey and stuff like that, I started wearing, like, I was just going through changes.
Where did you meet Joey?
Joey, he came in as a customer to Foot Action. Okay. Yeah, bro. And, he was looking for some Jordans, and I put him in a pair of Sauconys. And he thought they were the ugliest shits ever. I promise you, bro. And I was like, just buy it. I said, they're $50. I said, well, what's the worst? Just buy them. He bought them and came back the next day, bought another pair, bro. From there, I was just like, yo, like, come roll with me to New York, bro. Like, let's go to New York. And then, just drifted off on his own. Yeah. And I'm just proud of who he's become today. But yeah. You know what I mean? So that was definitely working at second base. That was like the peak where it was like, that's where I want to kind of do something on my own. But it simply is just because I went through so many different types of styles. Like, I've experienced the, like, higher end of fashion. Like, I've, worn Raf Simons, and, I worn Rick Owens and stuff like that. And then I also went through my vintage phase already when I was in, high school, you know what I'm saying? With the starter jackets and, SB Dunks, and, then came like the Billionaire Boys Club and Supreme. I was wearing that coming out of New York, you know what I'm saying? So, it was just like, what's next? You know what I'm saying? And I think it was just a matter of, like, I just want to wear some stuff that I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, things that I can't find, you know what I'm saying? And that's what just led me to go through the different brands, because I went through a cycle of brands. So, I'm just thankful that all of those doors led me to where I am now.
Well, and what is that?
My story, a story told, period. Like, it's just, I think it's the greatest thing I've ever thought of in my entire life. Like, I can't complain. It's me.
What is it? What is a story told? Because it's of course I know, or I have my own iteration of it. Right. But what does that mean to you?
So a story told is basically me telling my story through other people so that they can tell a story of their own, but it was through me. So it's basically like an ongoing conversation. A story told is basically my life. Like, it's an unfinished story that's just every day's a new page, every month's a new chapter, every year's a new couple chapters. So it's just I just relate it to fashion, you know what I'm saying? It's things that I've thought about in the past, things that I've wanted to do in the past, ideas that I thought were just not good enough. It's just me. And it goes hand in hand with everything. You know what I mean? If I make a hat, I give the hat to you, you like the hat, now the hat's on its journey. Like, that's an idea that was thought of, turned into something, transferred on to somebody else so they could have it, tell their stories of their own, their outfits of their own, take it to the places that they were. I can give you a hat that you can buy a hat from me, and tomorrow you go to Cuba, or you go to, Turks and Caicos. Like, I've never been there, but, that hat's a part of me. It's a part of you. You've been there. That hat, that's that story. You know what I'm saying? So it's been like that for a while, and I'm just so glad, like, I thought of the name. I'm so glad I thought, the meaning. It just all came together. It's all trial and error. That's exactly how it was founded, bro. I swear.
That's cool. Yeah, man. I like that. I really do like that. And then one thing I like about your brand is, like, you use the numbers to like kind of signify like what. Right. Yeah, I think that's really. I think that was like really cool. I haven't seen that in other brands and like people that drop things. I've seen it in like maybe Time Code or like movies or something like that. And I'm a big movie proponent. Like, I'm a big movie buff. So like anything that could reference that, it kind of like draws me in a little bit more. And then storytelling in fashion, like you've grown up with that. So it makes sense for you to transition into telling stories through clothing. Right. And I just think it's so fitting that it's called a story told.
It's just super dope. Like, I'm literally telling my story. Yeah. That's what I'm doing. I'm telling my story through clothes, but somehow, some way, it always ends up opening a whole nother story for a whole nother person. And that's just the greatness of it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
So when did you become familiar with Sneaker Box?
I became familiar with Sneaker Box right around the time like they opened. I mean, I was working at second base, And, I remember the crew had came, the guys from here, they had came and, they were checking out the area. They came to second base and I met all of them. And, we just talked for a little bit, but I mean, that was it. I really didn't go to Sneaker Box. I really, I just, all right, cool. We met the new guys. They got a sneaker shop down the street. That's what's up. It's cool. Yeah. We support it. You know what I'm saying? It was just that type of time. But, I guess it wasn't until later, you know what I mean? They invited me for a photo shoot. I was like, what the heck? I was like, what the heck?
I remember that. Yeah, that was the motocross team.
The one that Dee's wearing today, actually. So it's just they invited me for that, and I got to chop it up with them a little bit, and then
who shot that?
I don't remember his name. It was a photographer that they had.
Was that DB?
A while back. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't remember his name. Yeah, I don't remember his name. But and then after that, I remember I came to an event here and I was just talking to Anthony and Danny. He was like, yo, my pops, man, he really fucks with you, bro. We all fuck with you, man. You know what I mean? And, I was just like, all right, cool. Maybe this was it. I went home, I talked to Princess about it, and, I was like, if this is the move for me, then this is the move for me. But at that time, they asked me to come and be here, a part of the team. I had left, I wasn't working at second base anymore. Yeah. I was just trying to, honestly, just spend time, do things that I wanted to do while I could, and, spend as much time as I can with Princess. You know what I'm saying? It was just that trying to balance out my life. I feel like I was just working, because I was working another job, you know what I'm saying? So then, fast forward, they asked me they worked with my schedule, and I was like, all right, cool, no problem. I can help out the show.
And now you guys have a crazy working relationship.
I love everybody here. Yeah. You guys are my fucking guys, man. I love everybody here. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So from your perspective, how has Sneaker Box positioned itself in the Lehigh Valley and the community?
Well, I mean,
I guess the Easton
community. Yeah. I mean, I guess going based off of what they, what they do from what I've seen, you know what I mean? Not only the experiences that, or the events and things that I've been at, or, the things that they do for the community that I've seen. It's just from an outside standpoint too, before I was even here. Right. You know what I mean? I just felt like they were just one of those, humble guys, and, they just wanted to give back. You know what I'm saying? So the things that I saw they were doing from the outside, I'm like, yo, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? This is really dope. Mind you, I'm at second base and we're doing the same thing for the, the skate community and just the community in general too. You know what I'm saying? But, they were doing it for that culture, that sneaker culture, you know what I'm saying? And on top of, you got the other guys now in town like Izzy, Deigh, you know what I'm saying? You got all these people doing stuff for the shoe culture, but it was cool for them to bring it to Easton. You know what I'm saying? It was super dope for them to start it in Easton, because I feel like Easton got some type of shoe culture now, which is really dope.
It does. What I'm saying?
Yeah. You got to respect it.
That's a nice creative little scene.
For sure.
I think people are starting to see it now, but I came in, it felt like untapped potential. I was just like, there's so much going on, but everybody's so separate.
Right.
And that's kind of where I wanted to transition.
Yeah, right.
So I walked into Sneaker Box one day and I ran into Deigh, and I thought he was one of the coolest people, off the rip. We had great conversation. It wasn't about him trying to sell me something and right out the door. He let me walk around, showed me the cool things that was in the store, and those type of connections you don't really make with a lot of people. And I was appreciative of that connection that we did make, and that was kind of the reason why I wanted to do a Perks of Being Social with you. And
right.
We started that with the mixer, and here we are at the place where we started the first Perks of Being Social mixer.
For sure.
And that's about bringing people together. But speak on that, how was that when I kind of proposed that idea to you? I guess how did you respond? I guess in your head, how did you
It was I didn't see myself doing it at all. I didn't see myself doing it at all. Just not really that type of social guy. That was all. I don't like putting myself out there, be the face.
Which I didn't know, so I'm just doing that.
Yeah. So it was just there was just no way. I'm just not that guy to be out there, be the face of everything, be all over, social media and stuff like that. But I just thought about it, and I was just like, maybe this is something that's just new for me. You know what I mean? Maybe this is something that could kind of help me out. And, I was really, the conversation that we had was crazy. Like, if the dude got a head on his shoulders for show, you know what I'm saying? So maybe he could bring something out of me that I can't, you know what I mean? So I was just like, yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean? And, we had the mixer. I was scared too. Anxiety took over, but great mixer, bro. Everybody loved it. So shout out to everybody that came. Shout out to the person being social.
For sure. Very appreciative to everybody that showed love. I mean, like, I built a business off the people that we met at that first initial mixer. So it served its purpose. People have like grown into their own. Like, I've seen people blossom. I've seen you blossom. Like, the things that we've done, like things that we've accomplished, the things that we're going to do. Like, I'm super grateful for it.
For sure.
And I think Easton is like the perfect place to do it.
For sure. Easton is the perfect place to do it.
So I guess so we're gonna kind of wrap up here, and there's like just some kind of quick questions I guess I want to get to before we get out of here. And these are like just the quick hitters. Don't like think about them like too crazy.
Got you.
Top 3 brands right now.
My favorite.
For you, personal.
Story MFG. Story MFG is number 1. Anybody that knows me now, Story MFG. Story MFG is definitely number 1. Stussy, all-time favorite. Number 2.
That was the basis of
that was the conversation. Stussy. I was like, yo, this guy knows just as much Stussy about me. I'm saying, yo, he started mentioning Hugo. I'm like, people I don't even know. And I've been loving Stussy all my fucking life.
Oh, yeah. You were going to go try and get
a job.
The job down at Stussy. That's right. That's right.
Right. So,
yeah. And I told you he wasn't.
Yeah. I was just like, this guy knows people I don't even know, bro. I was like, oh, no, man, it's just crazy.
That's so good. I forgot about that.
Yeah, die hard fan of Stussy. And then Ralph Lauren, easily number 3. That's my top 3.
Okay. Favorite basketball team?
Basketball, I don't. I just have a favorite player.
Which is insane to me. I don't even like people who say things like that.
Sorry.
What?
I got one guy. I go where he goes.
Ryan, where are you getting these guests?
Yeah, I got one guy. I go where he goes, bro. That's it.
Who's your guy?
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie.
Yes.
Okay.
Kyrie Irving.
I guess.
For sure.
I guess we have to accept
I'm here,
that.
bro. I don't care if the world's flat around. Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean?
Do we?
Absolutely. You have to. Thank you very
Kyrie,
much, right?
Jesus. So
absolutely.
He goes. He plays for Dallas Mavericks right now. So that's your favorite team? Like, that's who you rocking with them?
So be it.
Okay.
So be it.
We'll do that. I have a friend like that. He follows Carmelo Anthony. I was like, well, follow him to China.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Can I not go to China?
All right, bro. I did not appreciate Melo's game back in the day. I really do now. All right, so favorite food that you would order on your birthday, like a birthday meal.
Birthday meal.
Yeah, like if I ask you, like, I got a chef here, it's your birthday, what do you want to eat? They can make anything in the world. What do you want to eat?
Damn, anything in the world, bro. Like a course? Is it like a plate? Because it's like
what is your favorite dish?
Oh,
sure,
man, bro.
You can give me the whole dinner layout, like what you would actually have for dinner.
Definitely be some mac and cheese in there for sure. Yeah, for sure, bro. Some mac and cheese in there.
Mac and cheese?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, bro. There's no other. If you eat any other kind of mac and cheese, you're wild, bro.
Let's do it.
Yeah, it would be big mac and cheese for sure. Then just straight like fried chicken, like mom's fried chicken, like straight fried chicken. Cornbread, bro.
You like cornbread?
I like cornbread, bro. Yes, honey butter cornbread.
You know who does a good cornbread? The barbecue spot right here.
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
It's like a honey cornbread.
Shout out to the barbecue spot, bro.
Phenomenal. Yeah. You guys do a great job.
That would just be
but I'll buy that one.
That would just be my first plate, and then a Cajun jambalaya pasta, hands down.
What?
Cajun jambalaya pasta: chicken, shrimp, sausage, spicy pasta. Finito.
Okay, I can't do spicy.
Bugging.
It's just me. Like, it's not like I don't like it. It's just like, ooh, like, why? I just don't understand why we have to burn our taste buds to like. It's not even enjoyable at that point.
It is just. it's like being drunk, but just eating, bro. That's exactly what spicy food is like,
I
bro.
don't drink like that either. So that's also a good thing. All right. So I guess give us for the young creators or for the young creators / designers, give them one bit of advice that you faced, or like some type of hardship that you faced, or maybe one bit of advice that you could give them as they start their journey, as they get into it. Not even, maybe they don't even know what it is. They're just, they think they have an idea, and they have that little itch, that little creator itch, and they want to do something for themselves. What's one piece of advice you could give them?
The same piece of advice I give to everybody that's ever DM me on Instagram or seen me in person, or found out I was a story told and just asked me, like, you have any advice? That I say the same thing. It's just, you're a human being, you're not perfect, and just believe in yourself, because believing in myself is the hardest thing. So I'm one of those people where I'm so good at telling somebody, hey, believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got this.
But you don't.
But then as soon as I look at myself, I'm like, nah, it's not the same thing. So I always say that, just believe in yourself. Just don't worry about what other people want you to do or expect you to do. You know what I'm saying? Learning how to, people are not going to like the shit you do. You know what I'm saying? Some people are not going to fuck with it. You know what I mean? Not going to fuck with everything you do. You just roll with the punches. Somebody's going to like it. There's a billion people in this world. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it may not be here. It may be somewhere else. The day you finally get to do it online, but somebody going to like it. There's a person for everybody in this world. So somebody going to like it. When it comes to clothes, somebody going to like it. For sure.
All right, ladies and gents, this is your Unlaced Podcast. I am your host, Joshua. That has been a very phenomenal talk with Deighton. We're going to get out of here. Until next time, like, share, subscribe, do all the things that are necessary for us to keep growing and keep doing these for you, because we enjoy doing them. Big shout out to Zeb Tepe, Creative. Ryan, you are a genius.
Shout out Ryan.
Shout out Sneaker Box, always, for hosting us. And
Shout out to the
we
gang.
are